most important lesson I learned last week was that snow is not a good source of water. I think we all want to make sure that our taps never go dry again. So the utmost important project that the city has for water is by far the deep water intake out at BCRUA. That needs to get completed because that's going to help drought proof us for when the next drought hits, not if. And then, of course, getting the backup generator at Sandy Creek, I think, is a foregone conclusion. And I think everybody is on board for that now. Looking forward, I think we should probably take a good look at our water contracts. We sell a lot of water outside of the city limits, and we process water for another city. And it's a great way to offset our own costs, but it also means that we have contractual obligations to these other cities. And so if we get into a pinch at some point, we have to deliver to them. And I want to make sure our residents don't fall behind.
Annette Sponseller, Leander City Council Place 2. What are your thoughts on Leander's water system and supply as we grow? As a city, we need to prioritize our water systems. There are three major areas we need to secure: the source, the capability of treatment, and distribution. We need to increase our distribution and redundancy capabilities. We need to support and implement long-range plans and look at all options available, including additional surface water, groundwater, and reuse water. We need a robust water conservation campaign to educate residents on ways to conserve water where and when possible. We need to incentivize developers to utilize options other than turf grass in right-of-ways. Since I believe that this issue is especially important, in January I completed my basic water operations class in order to more firmly grasp the issue and be able to advocate for our residents. Thank you.
So the question is around the water issues and Leander and growth. I think the city leaders have poorly managed the water supply in our city. They have not accounted for the growth we've been seeing. Over the past 3 years, they have not done a good job. So I understand we've been a fast-growing city and it's been hard to keep up. But had we anticipated that growth, we would be able to approve things kind of like approving a lagoon. I'm all for having a lagoon if we have the water to supply that. We have not done the planning that is needed to have a lagoon. After we saw the ice storm last week, we were at 30% water level after about 5 days. We need to do better. We need to account for growing the city to 100,000, growing it to 200,000, and we need to fix the water issues.
Hello, I'm Nacole Thompson, candidate for Leander City Council Place 4. The water supply in Leander has long been an issue for debate and concern. My goal as council member would be to ensure we create and maintain tax-efficient utilities, specifically water, so that our children and our families always have access to affordable water when and where we need it. As I think about water supply concerns, I would be remiss if I did not mention emergency preparedness. All of us were affected by the recent winter storms, and many of us were without water, heat, and other essentials throughout this disaster. As a council member, I would be prepared to act when emergencies arise by completing adequate and ongoing emergency management certification and training. I'd also be prepared to act by establishing proven plans for effectively preparing and communicating, organizing and managing, and immediately deploying resources within our community. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Donnie Mahan again, Leander City Council Place 4, coming to you live from campaign headquarters, aka the bonus room. The next question was, what are my thoughts of the state of Leander's water supply and system as we grow? The water study is being conducted right now, and that should highlight some of the opportunities within the city, and I would focus there first. But we need to ensure that we have the capacity to produce clean water to meet our current and future needs, as well as access to a secondary water source in the event of a catastrophe that impacts our primary source. According to our city's engineer, we have enough supply today to handle the growth to our projected 200,000 plus residents. However, I want to ensure that we shore up our critical infrastructure, especially in the light of the recent winter storm, when backup plans failed. Water is the lifeblood of our city, and we need to ensure that we don't fail our citizens in this regard.
So recent events confirmed what many of us already knew. Our water-related infrastructure is the most important thing that we need to address as a community. And instead of blaming past councils, pointing fingers, we need to act like business people and facing a supply chain problem and fix it. Solve it permanently. While some major parts of the problem, such as lack of redundancy, are clear, it's too early to say we have a silver bullet. It's too early to say that a solution is going to cost more in taxes or debt. I'm more likely to favor some budgetary trade-offs than taxes or debt. But our explosive growth means that we need to do something. The problem is not going to go away. We need to put our brightest minds on the issue and let them find creative solutions. We have an entire nation that we can look at with cities that had similar problems and see what they did and how they addressed it and find out what works for Leander. Let's take this as a business problem and fix it. Thank you.